Yeah, seriously. Um, okay, so I guess we can just go over the feedback he gave us.
Okay. So I was actually working on that right now because
Okay,
yeah.
let
Um
me get to it. So, oh wait, not this one.
I I thought it was funny how I thought I was a girl.
Yeah, Sister Micah. Sisters. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Micah was a prophet in the Bible.
That's funny. All right, so he says, okay, so he really likes the description of the process, which is great because we worked really hard on rewording everything.
Yeah, last time I didn't like it, but
Yeah.
so yeah.
So so he went back and wrote in red again under our black.
Yeah, I have it pulled up actually, the
Okay.
Word document. So, um, so what he said, he revised. We got number three. He said it was the population one. He said,
Mm-hmm.
what populations are you studying? And we said we will have a population of 30 people that consists of people in our day-to-day lives. And he said the 30 people is the sample. The sample is a subset of the population. You are taking a sample and observing it, and then making an inference to a larger population. What is that population you want to make an inference?
So I guess the so sample is the 30 people.
Yeah. So would the population
So
be
maybe the population is people we interact with on a daily basis, and then the sub sample is the 30 people or the 10 people we choose to speak or to.
wait, what city are you in?
I'm in Seattle.
So would the population be the people of Seattle and the people of Rexburg that we interact with?
I think so. Yeah. And then the
I think that's all we have to put on there. Population is the people
yeah.
of Seattle, Washington, and Rexburg.
Or we could also reword it where it's I don't think it'll be a I don't know about this one, but since we're all in different locations, you could just say the people of the United States or our region. What region are we in? The east? No, the west side. The west side of the U.S.
Yeah, the Western.
Western hemisphere, not hemisphere.
But I think that's assuming like we're gonna give all those people the same chance.
Yeah,
So
because I don't know if just doing Seattle or Rexburg.
should I just say the population is the people of Washington and Idaho
Mm-hmm.
in which we live?
Yeah. Let's see what he responds to that.
He's probably gonna get so sick of us.
I'm sure we're not the only ones.
Idaho.
I hope.
The population is the people is the total population of so the population is the total population of Washington and Idaho. These are I'm gonna put in parentheses like this is where each group member lives. Because I don't know how else we could word it.
Yeah.
So I think that makes sense though. So then number four, he said, what is your experimental unit? We said it's a random selection of anyone we listen to. He said, try again. The experimental unit is the smallest entity from which you will collect a single data point. Your sample is 30 people, and from that, you will collect, I assume, 30 data points. Therefore, what is your experimental unit? I don't get it.
So does he mean like feet and like kilos, but in words? Like our unit is words? 30, so it'll be 30 words.
So
I don't know.
the very first time we said single individual who says like one time. And he
Oh,
said to
that's
that,
right.
is your experimental unit only someone who says like, or will it be anyone you listen to?
Hmm. Oh, that's right. Um, what's an Let's see what Google says. Experimental unit.
I'm doing the exact same thing.
I feel like they all say experimental unit, but not what it is. Physical entity which can be assigned at random to a treatment. Oh, wait, no, this is not right.
So would it just be a single person? Like one single person? But that's what we said the first time. I don't understand why that was wrong.
I don't get it either. I feel like it's kind of unclear. Like, just tell us what you want us to put down.
Yeah, he keeps like shooting around it, but I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't either. Because it's not words, but it's not 30 people. So is it one person?
See, like
Because
that's what I was thinking.
each one person adds up to the 30.
Yeah, so that's like the
Or
smallest you can go.
or he said 30 data points. So is it one person equals one data point?
I think so. So one person equals one data point. Because what we said the first time is single individual who says like one time. And then he wrote back to that, is your experimental unit only someone who says like, or will it be anyone you listen to? So I think if we put one person equals one data point, then that's the lowest one, regardless if they say like, right?
Hmm. Right. Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Because
Yeah.
he said your sample is 30 people, and from that you will collect, I assume, 30 data points. Therefore, what is your experimental unit? One person equals one data point, regardless if they say like.
I think
I mean,
so.
I don't know.
Well, we'll try that.
Okay, so then number 9, he wrote that big long thing, and then he pretty much told us what our sampling method would be. So I just rewrote it already. So he said
Okay.
a bunch of stuff. If so, then your sampling method is convenience with elements of randomness within the convenience, which is true.
Okay.
So I just wrote our sampling method will be convenience with elements of randomness within the convenience.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 10, the only thing he said after all the questions was, this is pretty good. I think I only have one more question. What will you do if the person you have selected for a survey refuses for some reason? So what I was thinking is we would just generate a new number and pick another individual, right?
Right. I agree.
Okay, so
I,
if the person does not want to comply, then we will generate a new number and pick that individual.
mm-hmm.
Okay. Alrighty, well that was it.
Okay, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, hopefully that's
I guess we'll find out tomorrow. Sister Micah.
yeah, seriously.
Well,
Okay, sweet. So did you do the reading and stuff for this assignment?
I did a little bit of the reading. I didn't go into like full detail of it. I just kind of
Okay,
went
well,
over, I just kind of like glanced at it and then I went over the slide, one of the PowerPoints.
yeah, well, like if you just know how to plug it into the Excel, it's gonna be just like
Mm-hmm.
last time. It's gonna be really easy. So
Okay, I'll try that. If I have problems, can I text you? Is that okay?
yeah, that's fine. I'll just be.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right,
I
sweet.
tried. I tried calling Kelly again, but I didn't. She didn't pick up. So.
Oh, she didn't.
Mm-mm, no. And then I checked. I was checking my emails to see if I would hear from her, but I guess not. Yeah.
Hmm.
So next week, Thursday, is when I have my flight.
I don't think we have class next week. Thursday actually.
We don't? Is it a test?
No, it's So what he
Maybe
said
I
it
should.
where he said it's
Maybe I
like
should.
so during the fall semester we
Mm-hmm.
would normally have Thanksgiving would be that time, so we would have that Thursday off. And so
Oh,
since they have it off, he's just gonna let us have it off as well.
maybe I should actually watch the video that he tells us to watch, and I'll find out. Oh, I will look at that. Okay, then that actually works out perfect.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Our next test is coming up pretty
Monday.
soon, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like Monday.
I'm kind of worried.
So I just saved that revision and now I can't find it.
Oh no.
I don't know what I just did with it.
Um,
Oh wait, there we go. I found it.
we found it. All is well.
All is well. For some reason it saved in a weird spot. Let me make sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we're good. I'm gonna email it out to him then real quick.
Okay. That sounds good. All right, yeah. So we're using the categorical data analysis.
Yeah, it's the chai or the
Yeah,
chi
the
or whatever it is.
chi square test.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I see.
So when you're doing it and you're putting in the values into the Excel sheet,
Mm-hmm.
don't put any zeros in. Just leave it blank.
Okay.
Because if you put zeros in, it'll mess up your p-value and it'll mess up your all your other stuff.
Oh,
You just
thank
leave it
you.
blank. I learned that the
Okay.
hard way. It took me forever to figure it out.
Oh no. Okay. I will try that or
But you
not do
should,
that.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It just asks you questions after you plug everything into the Excel sheet.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. Yeah, because you just plug it in.
yeah.
I see.
And the only weird thing is like how they word the alternative and the null hypothesis.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of like pay attention to that in the reading, and you should be fine.
Okay.
Have you opened the quiz already?
I have.
Oh, okay. Well, just for like number 3.
Well,
Um.
I have my book open.
Oh, okay. I think it's number
So,
3 and 4. Number 3, number 9 and 14 were the confusing ones. So
Okay. Oh yeah, I suck at those. Is there sufficient evidence? I'm like, I don't know.
So for number 3, I actually got um so I let's see, I got A, gender and voting preferences are independent, and then the alternative is that they're not independent.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah. So
Okay.
when the p-value is lower than the variance,
Mm-hmm.
so for number 9 down there, for number 8, you'll get a low p-value. You're gonna get
Yeah.
like 0.0003.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have a p-value of lower than the variance, then there's sufficient evidence to suggest that they are not independent. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So for number
Yeah.
8, for example, number 8, I got a p-value of 0.000 just because it wants 3 decimal places.
So all 3 zeros?
Yeah, I just went a decimal 000,
Uh-huh.
and then because that's smaller than the variance, that means that there is sufficient evidence to suggest that gender and voting preferences are not independent.
Okay. I
And
think
then
it's like the whole wording of it and just like trying to process it in my head. And then I think about it too much that I just like confuse myself. So I always go with the opposite of what I think it is and I get it right.
oh really?
I know, so weird.
Yeah. And then for
Yeah.
number 14, it's just the opposite. So
Okay.
whenever the p-value is bigger than the variance, all you do is switch sufficient for insufficient. And it's the same wording the rest of the way.
Okay. So less is sufficient and more is insufficient.
Yep. And then the rest of it will be the same as your alternative hypothesis.
Okay.
So like your null hypothesis will be that they are independent, and your alternative will be that they are not independent.
Okay.
And so the wording, the only thing that changes between the two p-values is sufficient or insufficient.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll always say for like number 14, for example, for number 14, the p-value for number 13 is bigger than the variance. So the
Mm-hmm.
only thing that changes is there is insufficient evidence to suggest that motivation to visit a chiropractor is not independent of the location.
Okay. Um,
So you see, um,
yeah,
so
that's
you know,
starting to make sense.
so there's A, B, C, and D, right?
Mm-hmm.
So C and D are exactly the same sentence except for the words sufficient and insufficient.
I'm gonna try to trick you there.
So when for C, there's insufficient evidence. That's if your p-value is bigger than your variance. That's when you choose
So
C.
I guess my question is, how do you know what is the null and what is the alternative? Is it just from the research question?
Yeah. So the null will always be, for example, in number 9, location and the motivation to visit a chiropractor are independent. And then
Mm-hmm.
the null is the same thing, but are not independent.
Are not independent? Okay.
Yeah. And so if you look down at 14, the only difference between C and D is sufficient and insufficient. Everything else
Okay.
is exactly the same.
You know what? That's actually, thank you. That's actually clears it up.
Yeah. So when you have a p-value that's greater than your variance, it's insufficient. And then when you have a p-value that's lower than your variance, there is sufficient evidence.
Okay.
So
Why can't the textbook just say it like how you say it?
I don't know. It took me a while to figure it out. So I
Yeah.
thought I'd help you out. So
Thank you. Honestly, like biostats, it's not my thing. Like it doesn't make sense. I'm like, I don't get this.
so
Aside from
yeah,
the
I
actual
think
calculations that are straightforward, everything else, like the whole wording of it, is really confusing to me.
yeah, I agree. So as long as you can keep that straight, like if the p-value is bigger than the variance, there's insufficient evidence. If it's smaller, there
Smaller
is
is
sufficient evidence.
sufficient. Okay. Yeah. I wrote
You'll
it
be
down
there.
in my sticky note here, so now now I know.
Alright.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so yeah,
Okay.
good.
All right. I'll see how this goes. I think it'll be good just for me to do it by myself because I think I grasp onto it better.
Okay. But if you have any questions, you can just let me know.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Have a
Have a
good
good one.
night. Bye.